Today, we're going to have a read out loud / vocabulary booster lesson. And for that, I've chosen this book, The Deep, a very short but powerful book that teaches you when to quit and when to stick, by Seth Godin. His best-selling author of Purple Cow and Small is the New Big. Highly recommended. So I've chosen an extract from the book, and what we are going to do is we're going to read out loud and analyze the key vocabulary together. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Cosette and I'm a non-native speaker of English, and I'm on a mission to help as many English learners as possible to break the ice and start speaking English as soon as possible. I'll link down below a PDF with the extract that we are going to read, the key vocabulary, a quiz to check your understanding, and I'm also including a dialogue so that you can see the vocabulary that we analyzed from the book in a real live conversation. So make sure you check it out. So first, let's read out loud. Feel free to pause and repeat after me, and then we'll go over the key vocabulary. Being the best in the world is seriously underrated. I feel like giving up almost every day. In fact, not all day, of course, but there are moments. My bet is that you have those moments too. If you are the kind of high-achieving, goal-oriented person who finds herself reading a book like this, you're probably used to running into obstacles. Professional obstacles, personal obstacles, even obstacles related to personal fitness or winning board games. So let's start with this first word in the title. Being the best in the world is seriously underrated. So when something is underrated, it means that it's given less importance than it actually deserves. So people do not give enough importance to something. Underrated. Then we have a phrasal verb. I feel like giving up. When you feel like giving up, it's because you feel like you want to stop trying. I feel like giving up. Stop trying. Give up is the phrasal verb. So almost every day. In fact, not all day, of course, but there are moments. My bet. When you say my bet is my guess, but this guess is you make this guess and you are almost sure that you are guessing right. So my bet, my opinion, my guess, but you are almost sure that this is true. My bet is that you have those moments too, that you feel like giving up to. If you are the kind of high-achieving, so a high-achieving person is a person that is successful or ambitious, and a person who achieves more than the average person. Remember that here, ambitious is a positive adjective. You want to grow as a person, as a professional, for example. Yeah? High-achieving. Goal-oriented. This one is very easy to get the meaning because you have goal and oriented. So this is a person that works hard to reach goals. A person who's focused on reaching goals. Goal-oriented. Goal-oriented person who finds herself reading a book like this one. You're probably used to. This is a grammatical structure. When you're used to something, it's because you are familiar with something, or you are familiar or accustomed to something. Used to. So you're probably used to running into. This is a phrasal verb. Run into something. It has several meanings, but in this specific context, run into means that you're used to encountering obstacles. Run into. Professional obstacles, personal obstacles, even obstacles related to personal fitness or winning board games. Let's move on to the next extract. Most of the time, we deal with the obstacles by persevering. Sometimes we get discouraged and turn to inspirational writing like stuff from Vince Lombardi. Quitters never win and winners never quit. Bad advice. Winners quit all the time. Listen to this. This is so powerful. They just quit the right stuff at the right time. So let's break down the vocabulary in this second paragraph. Most of the time we deal with, this is a collocation. When you deal with something, you're dealing with obstacles here, is because you are managing to solve the problems that those obstacles imply. You see? So you deal with, you solve the problems that those obstacles are bringing to you. So we deal with the obstacles by persevering, trying hard, persevering by trying hard. Sometimes we get discouraged. Another collocation here, get discouraged. When you get discouraged, it's because you lose motivation for something, or even you lose your excitement or your enthusiasm for doing something. You get discouraged. And turn to inspirational writing. When you turn to something, it's because you start considering something that maybe you didn't consider before. So you turn to inspirational writing, like stuff. I know stuff is a very simple word, but I am considering it as key vocabulary because it is repeated several times through the different extracts that we'll be analyzing today. So stuff. When you say stuff, it's just an informal way to say things. So you refer to things without saying specifically what those things are. Stuff. You see? Things. It's in an informal way. So like stuff from Vince Lombardi. Let's read this together out loud because I think that these quotes are extremely powerful. Listen carefully. Quitters never win and winners never quit. Bad advice, says the author of this book. Winners quit all the time. But what they do is they just quit the right stuff at the right time. Maybe that resonates with your English learning journey. You are trying to do so many things at the same time, and all you have to do is just quit the right stuff at the right time. Maybe you are studying way too much grammar, and what you need to do is practice your speaking skills a little bit more and focus on expanding your vocabulary. So you have to quit the right stuff at the right time. Let's move on. By the way, if you are enjoying this type of lesson, please leave me a comment below and I'll be happy to come up with more lessons like this one, or maybe you want me to come up with a part 2 from this same book. Leave me a comment below and write part 2 if you want a part 2 of this lesson. So, most people quit. They just don't quit successfully. So meaning maybe they just don't quit the right stuff at the right time. In fact, many professions and marketplaces profit from quitters. Society assumes you are going to quit. In fact, businesses and organizations count on it. So let's go over the key vocabulary in this short extract. Most people quit. They just don't quit successfully. In fact, by the way, when you say in fact, you're just saying actually, right? Many professions and many marketplaces profit from quitters. This is very interesting. So profit from, it's a collocation that means earn money from something. They make profit from quitters. So they earn money from people who quit. Society assumes you are going to quit. In fact, remember, in fact, actually, businesses and organizations count on it. When you count on something, it's because you expect that something is going to happen and you plan something based on that. So businesses and organizations are expecting you to quit and they already have a plan for that. So count on something, expect that something happens and make a plan based on that. Let's move to the next extract. So if you learn about the systems that have been put in place that encourage quitting, you'll be more likely to beat them. And once you understand the common sinkhole that trips up so many people, I call it the deep, says Seth Godin, you'll be one step closer to getting through it. So I have highlighted here 2 or 3 words. So first, if you learn about the systems that have been put in place that encourage just means that motivates quitting, you'll be more likely to beat them, to defeat them. And once you understand the common sinkhole that trips up so many people, this is a phrasal verb. So if something trips you up, it means that it makes you fall or even fail. I think fail is much more suitable for this context. So trips up so many people, that makes so many people fail. I call it the dip, remember? You'll be one step closer to getting through it. Here we have another phrasal verb, get through something. So when you get through something, it's because you're able to overcome several difficulties and come out the other way successfully. It can be used in different contexts. For example, you can get through an illness, you can get through the loss of a relationship. Let's see, if you break up with your partner and you get through it, over time, it means that you overcome that difficult situation. So get through something. Remember, that's a phrasal verb. So here we have a very interesting word and an idiomatic expression. So extraordinary benefits accrue to the tiny minority of people who are able to push just a tiny bit longer than most. So here's this word, accrue. So extraordinary benefits will increase over time. Accrue. When something accrues, it's because it gradually increases over time. Extraordinary benefits accrue. Extraordinary benefits will gradually increase to the tiny minority of people who are able to push just a tiny bit longer than most. Extraordinary benefits also accrue to the tiny majority with the guts to quit early and refocus their efforts on something new. So you see how the word accrue repeats here again and then in the next extract as well. So when you are reading, instead of stopping and looking up every single word, just try to look up those keywords that are essential for you to understand what you're reading. And those words are usually repeated over or throughout the reading. You see what I mean? So, extraordinary benefits also accrue, remember, gradually increase over time to the tiny majority with the guts. That's an idiomatic expression. With the guts, with the bravery. You see, with the guts. To those brave enough, to those with the guts, to those who are brave enough to quit early and refocus their efforts on something new. So remember, with the guts, with the courage, with the bravery, people who are brave enough to quit in this particular context, with the guts. In both cases, it's about being the best in the world, about getting through the hard stuff, so about overcoming the hard stuff, the obstacles, the difficulties, being able to overcome those difficulties and coming out on the other side. So come out, another phrasal verb. This is a very simple one. To finish, to be able to finish a particular thing, you see. So you start experiencing the obstacles, you're able to navigate those obstacles, overcome the difficulties, and then you come out, you finish in a particular way, maybe stronger, for example, yeah, on the other side. Now, I want to finish with this quote from the book. I am actually reading just the first 2 pages of this book. So if you already find it powerful, I highly recommend you read this book, or as I said, I'll be happy to come up with a part 2 video where we can analyze some other interesting extracts from the book. So look, say it out loud after me. Quit the wrong stuff. Stick with the right stuff. Have the guts to do one or the other. So now let's recap the key vocabulary. Remember, you can find it in the free PDF I've linked down below. And as I said, I include the extract, the book extract we've just read, the key vocabulary, a quiz to check your understanding, plus a real-life conversation with this vocabulary as well, so that you can see how this vocabulary is used in a real conversation outside of the book. So first we had the word underrated. Underrated when something is not appreciated enough. For example, being the best in the world is seriously underrated. Then we have the phrasal verb give up. Stop trying because something is getting too difficult. Right now, honestly, I feel like giving up because I'm not getting enough views, but I'm still trying. Bet, remember to believe that something is true, to have an opinion or to make a guess because you're almost sure that is true. So my bet is that you are going to like this lesson. Let me know in the comments below. So high achieving, very successful and ambitious person. For example, she is a high achieving professional, goal oriented, focused on achieving goals. For example, he is goal-oriented and works hard to achieve his goals. Run into, another phrasal verb. Remember, to start experiencing difficulties, to encounter difficulties. For example, we all run into obstacles sometimes. We can't avoid that. To deal with something, to handle or to manage something. So, for example, I am dealing with low views on this channel right now. To get discouraged. So, to lose confidence or motivation. For example, it's easy to get discouraged after failing. Turn to something or turn to someone. So you go to someone or you go and you start considering something, especially for help. So for example, he turned to a mentor to ask for advice. Stuff. Just an informal way to refer to things without saying anything in particular. So remember, quit the wrong stuff. Profit from. So remember, to benefit from something or even earn money from something. For example, some companies profit from people who quit. Count on something, to expect something to happen. So remember, the system counts on you quitting. Then we have the phrasal verb trip up. So remember, to cause you. Then we have the phrasal verb trip up. So remember, when something trips you up, it makes you fail, it makes you make mistakes, it makes you fall. For example, fear of making mistakes when speaking English can trip you up. Get through something. So remember, to be able to successfully finish something difficult. For example, she pushed hard and got through the most difficult part of the project. Accrue. Probably the strangest word from this reading, right? Let me know in the comments below. And by the way, can you write a sentence and leave it below with this word, accrue? So remember, to gradually increase over time. So for example, benefits accrue to those who stay consistent. So here is the idiomatic expression with the guts, remember, with the courage. So to those who are brave enough, with the guts, with the courage. For example, only those with the guts to keep pushing hard will succeed. And finally, have the guts to do something which is very similar to the previous one. Have the guts to be brave enough to do something difficult. So for example, you must have the guts to quit the right stuff at the right time. Hope you have enjoyed this lesson as much as I did, and consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already. So remember, quit the wrong stuff. Stick with the right stuff. Have the guts to do one or the other. I'm gonna keep reading this book, and remember to let me know in the comments below if you would like to see a part 2 of this video with more from this book. Hope to see you soon. Bye!